Hello, welcome to my channel, Duckpotatoe's World. My name is Katie, and you have found my monthly video vlog, Created to Create. This is episode 42, the November 2025 episode, and it's kind of fun because this is episode 42, and November is my birth month, and I will be 42 years old. So that was kind of a fun little coincidence. But if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If this is your first time to hang out with me, thanks for sticking around. I sure appreciate you giving me a chance. I know there are a whole lot of media choices that you have, and I appreciate that you chose to spend some time with me today. So this is probably going to be a fairly short episode because October was a really busy month. So if you have been watching before, you know that my family took a vacation in October. We went to Kentucky with my mother, my stepdad, and my grandparents, and we saw the Ark and the Creation Museum, the ministry done by Answers in Genesis, and we had so much fun. I'll put a couple of pictures of our family up in here for you guys. And we took 3 days to see those two attractions, and we could have easily spent another day or two. We were exhausted, but we did have a wonderful time. Now, our Verbo was fabulous. We had a beautiful place to stay on a working cattle ranch. That was really fun. We roasted hot dogs and an outdoor fire one night. The weather was fabulous. I know why people got as far as Kentucky and decided to settle. That is the best weather I've ever been in. It was not humid. It was a beautiful temperature. And I asked around, like, did we just come at the perfect time of year? And people were like, no, it's pretty much like this all the time. I was like, well, that is some good weather. It was lovely. Absolutely lovely. Every day. The downside to Kentucky is the windy mountainous roads because yeah, those were crazy. We would have GPS would say speed limit's 50 miles an hour and you'll arrive in 7 minutes. Okay, in Texas, that's how I determine how far away something is, not the miles, but the time. 7 minutes, no big deal. Well, yeah, nothing that said 7 minutes took 7 minutes because I could never drive over 35 miles an hour on those windy, steep roads. So it would say 7 minutes for like 15 minutes. So I was like, this isn't how I think about distance. But we had a wonderful time. We never did wind up going to Mammoth Cave due to the government's shutdown. All of the federal parks were shut down, so you couldn't do any tours. So we did wind up cutting our trip a day short, but that was fine. We did stop over at Nashville and spend the night at Nashville, and we got to eat at Hattie B's, which was really fun. And we walked down the main road there in Nashville and saw the Cumberland River. That was kind of neat. And then we kind of took a slow, leisurely drive back to Texas through Arkansas by way of Hot Springs and said hi to my friend Tracie. And my mom and my grandma got to see her shop because they've never been to the shop out at Hot Springs before. So that was fun, and it was a really wonderful trip. And we've been back for 2 weeks now, and I feel like all I'm doing is desperately trying to catch up from being gone a week. And no, I have not caught up yet. In fact, in the last 2 weeks, I've done almost no knitting. I did get to knit one day. We were at a convention for the 1700th anniversary of the First Council of Nicaea. And since it was a convention, I brought my knitting, and I did get to knit that day while speakers spoke. We really enjoyed that convention. That was out at LeTourneau University in Longview. If anybody's familiar with LeTourneau, that was really fun. But that's the only day I've really gotten to do much knitting since I've been back from my trip. And I didn't do that much knitting on the trip. I knit a lot in the car on the way to and from Kentucky, but not once we were in Kentucky. We were really busy. I wanted to film like a little hello from the Ark, and I never sat down long enough to do that. It's just been busy, but that's okay. It's all been good things, and I'm excited to sit down and show you what I did or didn't get done this month. And you know, some months are like that, so it's all right. I will tell you about what I am wearing. This cowl, let me take it off for you so you can see it. This is a Laura Nelkin design called Gusto, or Gusto, I don't know how you say it. I think it's Gusto. It's just a really fun cowl, and I put the beads around the cast on and cast off. And my husband bought this yarn for me for my birthday probably 6 years ago, and the colorway was called What Katie Did. So in addition to being some of my favorite colors, I liked the name of the yarn. And I made this cowl out of it a while back, and that's what I'm wearing today. I am filming a day early. It'll be November 1st when you see this video, but I am actually filming on Halloween, so I have my Halloween outfit on. But that's okay. I got cute little cowboy boots and dancing cowboy skeletons. But yeah, my friend Regina, again, has graciously allowed me to film over in her shop. I think I filmed in my dining room last year on Halloween, and I kept getting interrupted by trick-or-treaters. So this should go a little more smoothly. I should be at home in plenty of time to hand out candy to our trick-or-treaters. But yeah, so that is what I am wearing. I don't remember, excuse me for a moment, I need my notes. I don't remember the name of the Etsy dyer that I bought this from. I'm sorry. If I can find a record of it, I'll put it on the screen somewhere. But I like the yarn, and it is a fun cowl. Finished objects. Even though I really don't feel like I knit much, I do have a few finished objects, and I will show them. The first one was kind of cool. My youngest son and I took a class on using triangular looms and doing triangular loom weaving. And then I made a purse out of my triangle. My son made a bandana out of his. I'll put a picture in of the two of us weaving on our triangle looms. That was a lot of fun, and I am going to show the little purse that I made. So I guess this is kind of an acquisition too. The shop included the yarn, or the class included the yarn. So I bought this, I paid for the class, and then this yarn was provided by the class. So I don't remember off the top of my head what kind of yarn this was. I'll put it on screen if I can find it. But it was just fun. You wove the triangle, and then this is the bind off edge along the two sides of the triangle, the top open part here. And then you sewed it together. You made one seam here, and then one seam on the side, and one of the sides is also a bound off edge. So there's two seams, and it turns the triangle into a square. And then we took really long strips of yarn and just twisted them, and then I sewed those along the edge to make a little purse. And I put a snap, I have a little magnetic snap, and I just sewed buttons over the back sides of the snap so they would be prettier. But yeah, that was fun. I did that in the course of the class. Now the class took probably, I don't know, we're there from like 9 to 4, 9 to 3. It was most of the day, but it was very fun, and I had a finished object at the end of it, so that was really cool. And I had a lot of fun with my son. He's very proud of his bandana. He wears it all over the house. And then I also finished, well, you know, there's always that thing like, how does one define finished? For me, it's finished if I'm no longer knitting it or it's off the loom. Even though I might still need to block it, I might still need to weave in ends. In my brain, I consider it finished if the knitting or crochet is done and if the thing is off the loom. So with that definition of finished in mind, I finished it's right here, my biased opinion wrap. So it has not been blocked, but I did finish the knitting, and I crocheted this border around it here. And I still want to block it. I have a couple of ends, I think just from the border that need to be woven in. And I'm going to put fringe on the short ends of this scarf, but this scarf is done. I hung it up there because I had a big blank wall, but I guess I could pull it off. Give me just a second and I'll pull it down so you can see it. Okay, so this is it. This was very, very fun to knit, very simple, didn't need a pattern. I love it. And it's a nice long, I mean, it's at least as long as I am tall, which is a good rule of thumb for a scarf. So I'm very, very happy with this. It came out lovely. Now, of course, stockinette rolls, so my edges are rolling. And that's part of the reason I put this crochet border, was to maybe help the edges lie flat. I'm not sure if I made the border thick enough to do what I had in mind, because it's, as you can see, it's still rolling. But I haven't blocked it yet, so some of that might come out when I block it. If it doesn't, I mean, it's a scarf. Once you have it wrapped around you, I don't think it's gonna matter anyway. But yeah, this is done. Very happy with this. Had a lot of fun making it. I might make another one. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stripes the way the pattern's written, so you could easily make this a scrappy project and do different colors for each stripe. I use different yarns, so this is one kind of yarn, and then this is a mohair and a different yarn alternating, and then so you could do all kinds of fun things. You could do different two scrappy yarns alternating here, and then a different one here, and so you could use up like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different scrappy yarns, 11 if you wanted to do a border. Be a fun scrappy project. But yeah, my friend Antonia, this was a kind of a mini make along with a friend of mine. She's still working on hers, but she is doing great, and I have finished mine. So there we go. I'm gonna hang it back up on the wall. Okay, so that one is finished by definition of off the needles, off the hook. And this next project is finished by definition of off the loom. This is the scarf that I have been weaving on my 2-shaft floor loom, Beatrix. And I finished this, actually, the weaving of it, maybe 3 weeks ago. I think I finished this before I went to Kentucky, but I just left it on the loom, and I think my plan was to cut it off the loom on camera, and I totally forgot and got all excited when I showed up at my friend's shop to do our in-person knitting time and just cut it off the loom. And she was like, I thought you were gonna film that. And I was like, oh yeah, oops. So sorry that you don't get to see me cutting it off the loom. But here it is. It is a very loose weave, but it's another great length scarf. It is a little bit longer than I am tall. Right now I just have knotted fringe edge. It needs to be blocked and washed. And then I think I'm going to try doing a twisted fringe. I was going to try doing some fancy tying, like lattice knots, but I didn't. I thought I brought the book with how to do that with me, but I didn't. And I was too excited to get it off the loom, so I just cut it off, and I'll try that on some other project. The edges are not perfect. I don't know if you can see, like I have some, it'll look really good for a while and then not so good. But you know, it's a learning process. I'm very happy with the drape because it is a loose weave. It's nice and drapey. It's a little uneven. I can see places where it's packed a little tighter. Hopefully some of that will maybe even out when I block it. I don't know. I'll have to be very careful. It's got nice long fringe. I think I should be able to do some twisty fringe edges with that easily enough. And yeah, so that is my scarf. Now I made this out of Hot Springs Fiber Company Magic Merino Sport Weight yarn, and the warp is a self-striping yarn, and the weft is solid. So that made for a really neat, kind of looks plaid. I love it. I'm really happy with the look. And I can't remember if this is the full bloom. I do this every time. It's either full bloom or true love. I can never remember which one it is. I think it's full bloom. I'll put some information about what it is for sure up here on the screen for you. I'll look it up. But yes, this is a Christmas present. It is basically done. It is off of the loom. It just needs to be washed, and I need to finish up the fringe. But yeah, very, very happy with how that turned out. I have plans to make another one in the same yarn, but a different colorway. I'm going to use the shell-shocked colorway. I have a ball of self-striping for that, and I'm excited to get that done. Well, started. I haven't even started it yet, but I'll start that next month, I'm hoping. And that's all the finished stuff I have. I have some works in progress. Not a lot of progress on most things, but I will show you what I have done. Okay, so I'll show you the wedding peacock veil because everybody asks about that one all the time. And I have made progress since last month. Not as much progress as I was hoping. I have about 10 rows less progress than my goal, but that's okay. That's still progress. And I have had some more drop stitches that I've had to fix. So far, I only had to frog a few rows. It wasn't quite as bad as the last time, so that was good. But I have one spot where the lace is just super big, and I'm hoping that will even out when I block it. Either way, I don't think it's like, no one's gonna be able to tell when she's wearing it, but it is on some short needles, so it's pretty bunched up. If I were to spread it out, it would be pretty big at this point, probably around here. But you can see here, this is my pink lifeline, my red lifeline. I now have a green and a teal. I don't remember what the last lifeline color was that I had on here when I showed it to you before, but that's kind of how we're having to go with progress, is lifeline colors, because I can't put any metal stitch markers on here because they get rusty, even if they're stainless steel, and they mess up the yarn. So you'll just have to remember pink, red, green, kind of turquoise lifelines. That's where we're at. So that is coming along. I sent pictures of it to my sister and she loves it. She sent me some pictures of some ideas for her wedding dress and I think it's going to be beautiful. So I'm very, very happy about that. I think I want it to be the full size, but I think if worse comes to worse and I don't quite have it done, it's going to be more than big enough. My sister's not very tall and she's a tiny little thing. So if it has to be ended a little sooner than maybe the pattern originally called for, I think it will be okay. But hopefully I will get working on that. That is, believe it or not, it's my priority. The problem is it's obviously not portable. It's teeny tiny yarn and I need a intricate charted pattern with me that is hard to see on my phone. So between having a hard time seeing the yarn and a hard time seeing the pattern, I'm kind of limited to working on it when I'm at home in front of my computer with all the lights on. And because of the intricacies of it, it's one of the most difficult things I've ever done. I try to work on it when there's not a lot of interruptions because when I get interrupted, that's when I start dropping stitches. So the stars have to align for that thing to get worked on, but hopefully I'll have some more time to work on it in the near future. Let's see, what else have I worked on? Oh, my bunting cowl by Dawn Barker. Let me find that. I've had lots of progress on this because this is the project I took with me to Kentucky. You guys, I am so optimistic. I took this project and like 3 sock tubes because I thought I'll finish that bunting cowl and I might need a project. Yeah, I did not finish the bunting cowl. So the sock tubes are still at home. They didn't get touched at all. But I have done a lot of progress on the bunting cowl. I don't know, I'm maybe 3/4 of the way through it. So let's see, I'm on the second color and probably about halfway through the second color. So I was way down here where this little stitch marker is at the bottom here. So that's all I had done when I showed it to you last month. And I have finished the assigned pooling section and made lots of progress on the solid garter stitch section. This is what I carry around to knit with me right now whenever I'm going somewhere, like for that convention or in the car, because no pattern needed. I know what I'm doing. I just knit for days. I can knit in the dark. I don't have to look at it. It is a great travel project and I'm very much enjoying it. I love the way the assigned pooling came out. So this is coming along quite nicely. I have my yarn on my new yarn spool system. I'm still not sure what I think about it. In some ways I love it. It's just like everything, it has pros and cons. In some ways I'm not wild about it. So it's great in the beginning, but as the yarn starts to get more like, while it's still fat like this, it's great. But when you start to run out of yarn and it gets down like this, it's not quite as user-friendly. It does, like if you tip it sideways, it'll roll like a spool, but then you have the problem that you always have with outer pool balls, and that is as you pull on it, the spool wants to roll across the floor, which is what I don't like about outer pool systems. I don't like my yarn running away from me. So still have that problem, but it is great if you need to frog something. It's easy to wind right back up. I've had to frog things more than once. That has been really helpful. I do like that it's very fast and easy to wind. That is great. So, I mean, it's just, I think for some things I like it better than others. If I was just going to do something really small with just a small amount of yarn, like the quintet shawls that I did last month, I don't think I would care for this system because you're starting off with such a small amount of yarn, you're going to have to turn your spool sideways automatically. And then, like I said, as you pull, the spool rolls, and I don't like that. But for things like my blanket of knowledge, where I have a full thing of yarn and I don't even use the whole 100 grams anyway when I do that, it's been really cool. So that has lots of progress done on that. What else do I need to show you? Oh, let me look at my notes. Sorry. I need to get like a little TV tray to sit in front of me or something. Let's see, we did the wedding peacock. We talked about my bunting. My 4-shaft loom that's over at Mineola, it's not my loom, it's my loom that I'm using at Mineola League of the Arts. Those towels have nothing at all done on them. I tied them onto the back beam and then went out of town. And then since we've been back in town, I've only been back up to the League of the Arts a couple of times. We've been so busy. And both times I haven't made any progress because the first time I couldn't find paper. When you wind your warp up on the back beam, you need you need to, when you dress the loom and you wind your warp threads up on the back beam, you need to put some paper in there so that the threads don't get crisscrossed as you're rolling the beam. And I couldn't find the paper, and the lady that's normally up there to help wasn't there that day. And then the next time I came, I found the paper and I went to go wind the back beam, and my very first thread has a big old knot like 2 feet in. I don't know how I missed a knot like that. I thought every time I saw a knot that I cut it off and started a new thread, but apparently not. And this knot will not go through the heddles, so I'm gonna have to completely pull out that thread and tie on a new thread, which is not a big deal. It's actually caught this problem, you know, early on in the process, but I didn't have the extra yarn, the leftover yarn with me that day. So nothing has happened. That loom is just sitting there waiting for me to show up next week and hopefully switch out that one warp thread, and then hopefully I can get it wound onto the back beam and finally start the weaving. Once I start the weaving, it shouldn't take very long. I think I have 6 towels planned, and it is a 4-shaft loom, so I'll be able to do some patterns, which I haven't done yet. But yeah, so nothing to really show on that loom. And then the only other thing that I have worked on is I have progress on my Fall Fun blanket of knowledge. Now, I haven't even touched the campfire. I'm trying to get my Fall Fun finished because it's a Christmas present for my mother-in-law. I will worry about my campfire one. I've already told my son that he's not getting it for Christmas. He'll get it for his birthday in April. So if I can finish this by Christmas, then I'll have January, February, March, and most of April to finish the campfire blanket for my son. But you can see I have it right here. This is the tent strip. So there's 12. I'm gonna have 12 strips on this one. And I'm not sure how far down. I don't know if you can see the first 2 or 3, but this is the one I just finished, and I'm gonna go pull this off the hanger here so I can show it to you. Alrighty, so here it is. I love this color. This is my favorite color out of the entire set, and I love them all. But yeah, that's where I was when I filmed last month. So I've done my strip and a half, which is my goal every month, because if I do that, it will be done in time for Christmas. So I'm gonna move up my little stitch marker. Y'all, I noticed my cute little parrot stitch marker's tail broke off. I have no idea when that happened. I was kind of sad about that. It had a tail originally. But yeah, so there we go. I have 2 more strips left to go, and I will start that next month. And if you want to see, I'll run through the bottom colors here so you can see the bottom. That's where we began back in August of 2024. Yeah, I think I started this in August of 2024. So it's coming along very nicely. I get so many compliments. It's kind of big to be knitting on out and about, but occasionally I'll bring it to an in-person knit group or something, and everybody always tells me how beautiful it is. So it is lovely. Tracie did a wonderful job. And yeah, I'm gonna hang it back up. Give me just a second. There we go. Hopefully I have it back more or less where it was. I was trying to hang some things partly to block the light from that window, and partly just because it's more interesting to have something hanging than just a white wall. So those are what I have been working on. The next thing I have is some acquisitions. I wanted to, and Mom wanted to, hit a yarn store at some point in Kentucky, but that just did not happen. There were some that weren't that far away, but we were just so busy doing Answers in Genesis stuff, Arc Encounter stuff, that we just never got away during the day to find a yarn shop. Plus my grandmother would have probably liked to go to a yarn shop with us, but the other 7 people in our group, had no interest in yarn. But we did, like I say, make a pit stop in Arkansas. Actually, we stopped in Little Rock and had lunch at a fun Arkansas restaurant called Eat My Catfish. That was really fun. My friend Kathy Fuller recommended that restaurant. And then we detoured just a little in through Hot Springs so we could swing by and see hi to Tracie. And of course, I did not leave Hot Springs Fiber Company without some Hot Springs Fiber Company yarn. So I'm going to show you some yarn that we got there. Now my husband picked out these colors. I told him to pick out a ball of yarn because I make him a hat almost every year around Christmas time. And he picked up these colors and couldn't pick one. So Tracie said, well, just get them all. And so she gave these, I don't know if she gave them to him, I guess technically. She gave them to him and he handed them to me and has asked for hats and scarves and things. So I have this one here that is a really pretty gray and blue. This is a Magic Merino Sport. Most of it is Sport. Some of it is DK. I have 2 of these. I think these are, let's see, here we go. Nope. 2 of these. These are the DK. They're the same kind of color. These are the Magic Merino DK. They're mostly green with just this little dark bit of dark blue in them. And then I have this one that is a kind of a gray, blue, tan. That's also Magic Merino Sport. And then this one that's Magic Merino Sport. I know this one came from the Crab Blanket of Knowledge. I know that was, I had some socks that I made him out of this colorway, so he really liked this. So I got one of these. So I have 5 new balls of yarn for me. And, well, for my husband, who, you know, and you've noticed you haven't seen any Mr. Duckpotato Knits videos. He has not been knitting at all. He did not finish the cowl for my son that he was working on, and now my son keeps asking me if I will finish it, and the answer is no. I probably will eventually. Don't tell him I said that. I'm really trying to get my husband to finish it, but I may wind up finishing it for him. He says it hurts his hands, and I'm sure it does because the cowl is heavy and the yarn is thick, and especially if you don't regularly knit and you never relax into it, if you're very tense, I'm sure it does hurt. I don't find knitting uncomfortable at all, but I did find crochet very uncomfortable in my wrists and my shoulders for years, until I just got good enough at it that I relaxed while I was doing it, and now it doesn't hurt me really either. Occasionally, crochet will bother my carpal tunnel. This kind of rotating wrist motion, if I do it too much, will bother me, but even that, with practice, has gotten where it's not that big a deal for me. But anyway, and my very youngest son, Judah, the one who took the weaving class with me, he has started knitting because he wants the same cowl. So he's working on one too now, and he keeps hinting that I should take over for him, but he's doing a great job. He really worked on it lots while we were traveling in Kentucky. He's doing really good. So we're gonna make him finish his. Maybe when he finishes it, I'll let him come on here and show it off. He's doing a very good job. One more acquisition I almost forgot to talk about that I remembered a little late, but better late than never. I have subscribed to the Weft magazine. This is a all-new weaving magazine. It's put out by the same people who put out Ply, which I believe is a spinning magazine. So I think I showed you guys when I got my first magazine in the mail, but I know I did not show you when the second one arrived because I forgot to, and the third one just arrived. So I actually have 2 more magazines with the Weft for hand weavers, and I am excited. I haven't even finished reading through and exploring everything in the first one. And now I've got the autumn and the winter versions that have already come in. But that's okay. They are so full of just way interesting things. All kinds of different patterns. I love the different things you can do with weaving. I'm really excited to try some patterns on my 4 loom. I'm not sure what they're doing here. I'll have to look in that and see what that one is. But yeah, I also got my new Weft magazines. But that was a bit of a sidetrack. What I want to tell you about is what I have to give away to you this year. Or this month. I give something away most months. Ugh. So these are just kind of some random things I've collected over the past few months to give away. It's not really a kit or a set, but hopefully you will enjoy having it. One thing I wanted to make sure I gave to you guys before Christmas are some of these I-cordy tools. These are for thicker yarn, like you could probably do DK and worsted weight and even probably a little bulky weight. I have a 4 and a 3. So I have these as well for myself, and I used this one to make the I-cord that I wove into my rug. And then I also have a 3-stitch version, and that was bulky weight yarn, and it did a good job. So I have these 2 things to give away. I wanted to give you guys a smaller one that's for use with fingering weight yarn, but I just haven't. I bought one on Etsy, and I was going to buy a second one for you guys, but I just don't like that one, so I need to find one that I like. I'll give it away at another time, I guess. But I don't want to give you a cool tool without some yarn to use with it. So I also have a ball of this Aran weight, worsted weight actually, Acuna, let me see if I say, Araucania yarn. I'm thinking it's Portuguese. It says it's the Hausco Aran, oh it is Aran, kettle dyed yarn. Luxurious fine merino blend, hand painted by Peruvian artisans. Oh, Peru. What do they speak in Peru? Spanish? Maybe it's Spanish. Anyway, this is plenty thick enough to be used with the I-40 tool if you wanted to try it out, or if you wanted to do something else with it. You've got enough here to make a hat or maybe a small cowl. And I did include a pom-pom in case you want to make a hat. This poor pom-pom is looking a little bit sad, but if you just blast it with your blow dryer, it'll fluff right up. And I also have a little bag of goodies. There's some stickers and some stitch markers. These are heart-shaped stitch markers. And then a couple of hat snaps. I love these. I have some that I have to sew on, but these are my favorite because they don't sew on. Let me show you. They just button. And so you make your hat or your scarf or whatever you want, and you slide this up on the edge like that. You just slide it up on the edge. You poke the little ball through the knitting like that, and then you poke it through, and it's just a cute little label. This one says made with love. I think I have two in here to give you guys. I think the other one says handmade. I have a brown one and a black one. So you can put them on, I like to put them on hats, but you can put them on, the black one just has a bee. You can put them on anything you make, anything you knit. You can put it on your cowl or whatever. And then they come off when you need to wash them. That's why I like the button ones instead of the sewing ones. I have several that are sewn on. And then when I go to wash the hat, the little fake leather label kind of disintegrates, which is not great, but these come off. And a cute little bag to put them in. So this is what I am giving away for this month. So if this is something that you would be interested in giving a home, if you would like to be shared with, then you should comment on the video below. It is November. November is my birth month and it is Thanksgiving. So why don't you guys tell me some things that y'all are thankful for, and I will pick a winner in December and get this sent off then. Now, I didn't announce the winner for last month, and I'm so sorry, and I didn't bring it with me to show, but I do have a prize winner to announce for the person who won the September shareable. So give me just a second, and we will see who the lucky winner is. So congratulations to our lucky winner. You will be getting 2 balls of Cumulus yarn, and I don't remember what else was in that prize package in that shareable. Like I said, I forgot to bring it with me to show you, but congratulations, you were the winner. Make sure you send your name and your address and all of your information to me in the email that's in the description box down below so I can get that sent out to you as soon as possible. I hope you enjoy your shareable. You guys, make sure, I don't know if y'all know this, but on YouTube, there is a community tab where you can put posts, sort of like Facebook or Instagram. So if you guys make something, or you should go over there and send me a picture or comment about it. I'd love to see if you get your prize or whatever. I know our winner last month, which was my friend Sherry, she has already knit the Quintet Shawlette kit that she won and gave it away to a family member of hers as a gift. So that was fun. I didn't get to see it, but I did talk to her, and she told me that she had finished that. So it would be really fun if you guys put the pictures on the YouTube channel. That would be really cool. And yeah, so that's our shareable. Now let's see, what else do we have going on? Let me see on my list here. Make sure I don't forget to talk about anything importante. Oh, look, I did write down what the winner's getting from. So our winner is getting the Cumulus yarn, a bag, and some point protectors. It's for knitting needles. So that's what the winner will be getting. And like I said, I can't show you. Maybe I'll put a picture of the prize up here so she remembers what shareable she's getting. Or he. There you go. Okay, plans and purposes. You guys, we got a lot of stuff coming up. I have a lot of stuff coming up. I'm sure you do too, with all the holidays coming around the corner and everything else. If you are fairly local to me here in East Texas, the brand new East chapter of the Singing Women of Texas will have their very first concert November 16th at First Baptist Church of Tyler at 6 p.m. So if you are in East Texas and you want to come hear us sing, you should swing by, check us out. I'm very excited. This will be our first concert, so yay, come see that if you are able. And I'm very, very excited about the RCal that I've been doing with Kathy Fuller. We have 3 parts out. Part 1 is on both of our channels. Part 2 is on Books and Hooks, Kathleen Fuller. That's her YouTube channel. Part 3 is on my YouTube channel. So you can follow along. This, I have read 2 or 3 of the books for the current part so far. I'm still working my way through the books. And I think I've done 2 or 3 of the granny squares. I don't show them on here. If you want to see the granny squares, then you'll need to go check out the RCal videos, and they have their own playlist. I also have a playlist just for y'all's reference that has all the tutorials for the granny squares in one place. They all come off Kathleen Fuller's YouTube channel. I think, well, yeah. That's where you want to check them out. You want to check them out from her YouTube channel. You can join us anytime. This is just a very, very laid back crochet along. You can read all of the books along with us, or you can just pick out the ones that interest you. We pick one book every part to talk about. So if you just want to read the book that we're going to talk about, you can do that. You can crochet all the granny squares. You can pick just one. I haven't made anything with mine yet. I think I have 13 granny squares right now, 15 counting the 2 I just did. And if we continue as planned, I'm hoping to have about 60. And I haven't decided how I'm going to utilize them yet. I may, obviously, if I have that many, I may be able to do more than one thing. I've got some ideas, but I haven't done anything yet. Right now, I'm just enjoying the making of them and the owning of them. So yeah, come hop in, join the RCal whenever you want to, and stay for as long as you want, and pop in and out and just hang out. That's way fun thing going on. And then the last thing I want to talk to you guys about real quick today is Vlogmas. So I haven't done Vlogmas every year. In fact, last year was the first year I did Vlogmas, and I did it along with my Hot Springs Fiber Company Advent calendar. And we read the book of Luke. And well, I didn't read it out loud on the channel. I just read the book of Luke, 1 chapter a day. And then every time for Vlogmas, I talked about the chapter in Luke that we read and showed you whatever I had from the Advent calendar. But this year, I have gotten permission from my church to read with you guys, Son of God, Son of Man. This is a Advent devotional that my church, one of the pastors in my church, David Atterbury, wrote back in 2020 or 2021. It's an older one. 2020. He wrote this one back in 2020. So I spoke with him, the author, and the church, and they said that I was allowed to read this out loud. So we are going to go through this devotional during Vlogmas this year. So if you would like to join in for that, I don't think you can, I don't think they sell these. I don't think there's any way for you to get your own copy, but you can jump in with me and we will read through it together. So it has 3 parts: Son of God, Son of Man, and Prepare Him Room. And like I said, we'll read 1 a day during Advent season. And they're not super long. I mean, they're about 2 pages each. So it shouldn't take a ton of time. But it does have some questions. Each devotion day has a couple of things to help you think about. And then a couple of prayer prompts, so we'll pray together. I'm real excited to do that. But yeah, each one looks like it's about 2 pages long. So they won't be real long. There's a couple of sections called Going Deeper. They have not one every day, but I think they're like maybe once a week. How many Going Deeper sections do we have? 1, 2, 3. There's at least 3 Going Deeper sections. And we also have some common creeds in the back. So I mentioned to you that I had gone to a convention celebrating the 1700th anniversary of the Nicene Creed. So the back of the devotion has the Nicene Creed, the Creed of Chalcedon. Those are the only 2 that are back there. So we might spend some time reading those creeds as well. Maybe I'll do the kickoff version. We'll read the creeds. So if you guys are curious about what I believe, creed just means I believe. It comes from the Latin words that mean I believe. So a creed is just a statement of what you believe. Yeah. So anyway, I am excited to get to do that with you guys. I wanted to do something Advent with you again. I really enjoyed Vlogmas with you all last year, but I didn't want to read through Luke again. I mean, I probably will read through Luke again, but I wanted to do something new as well. So I'm really happy to be able to do this. I have a couple of other devotions from our church from years past that I may do over the next few years. That's kind of my plan right now, but we'll see how they go. So that is all I have for you today. I think that has got to be enough. I am grateful for you guys. I really am. There's just a ton going on in everybody's world, and it is so very nice to be able to stop for a few minutes and just visit with you guys and see what kinds of crafty, beautiful things we've been creating. We've been celebrating creation, like I said, all month. Part of the fun of the Ark Encounter is to see the diversity and the resilience and just the care and planning that God put into creation. I'm going to close this in prayer, and I will see you guys again next month. And in the meantime, you guys have a beautiful, beautiful day, and continue to glorify God in all the things that you create and do. Heavenly Father, we thank you so very much for all of the many ways in which you bless us, Lord. Thank you for the beautiful weather we've had the last few days. Thank you for my family and the time that I got to spend with them. Thank you for the opportunity to explore more parts of your creation as we drove through Mississippi and Arkansas and Tennessee and Kentucky, and just got to see some of the diversity that is just here in our world that you provide for us. Thank you for the breath that you give us, for the part of you that you share with us, for the making of us in your image, and for letting us share in a little bit of your joy in creation when we get to create our own things that are beautiful. I ask that you be with my family and my viewers in the coming months, Lord. May people have a wonderful Thanksgiving that help them to focus on the blessings and the good things that you are gracious enough to give all of us. And may they get ready to celebrate the birth of the Lord Jesus, Lord, and be reminded that of all the gifts we can have, he is the greatest thing. Of all the things that we can be thankful for, he is the greatest thing, because it is through him that we are saved. He is the door that you provided, the way, the gate, and he is the truth and the light, and that he is how we come to you. And in your name we pray. Amen.